The slide that I wanted to share was a huge shout out to Natasha and Kimmy and the Habitat Communications team. We had pulled up some screenshots of all of the stories, both print and online, that have come over the last year or so, and I know they've placed over a dozen stories here locally, and that number continues to climb, so thank you so much for all of your work. And as someone that works with the press quite often, it's really fun to be able to email a reporter and say, do I have a story for you? And this is what I've been doing the last couple of weeks. We worked together on a press release and sent it out, and I've been sending highlights to reporters as we've been in the field, which has been really fun. And of course I've been taking video and joining you all in the field, so thank you all for giving me the space to do that. It can be difficult sometimes to paint a picture for reporters if they're not here, so having your hospitality to bring my video camera along, and for all of you that have shared photos with me, I cannot thank you enough, because this is how we can bring this story locally and globally. I do, but that's okay. These are Phil's photos, which are wonderful. And just a couple notes, and then I'm happy to jump into Phil's photos, which I can't wait to show. As far as the BioBlitz goes, thank you all again for using the hashtag PGHillBioBlitz 2017. That has been a really fun way to point people to all the different social media platforms so they can get real-time updates. So we really appreciate all of you for your careful tagging and posting. Oh, here I am. Thank you so much. Aha. All right. We're live. Thank you. So here we are, local media, some wonderful highlights. Another shout out to the Habitat team. I didn't have time to list all of the partner pages for social media, but for Jason Learning and for the tree projects, the Habitat Foundation, the Habitat, our pages, follow along. We'll be continuing to tell stories and post updates there. And thank you for everyone for tagging your photos. And like I said, the storytelling continues. My job has just begun. Now is the time to share with people all around the summaries of our findings, and we can't wait to bring this story to people around the world. Biographic is a story you can expect to see come out. Meg already introduced Phil, but he was here on assignment, and we're really excited to see a sneak preview into his photo piece for Biographic, which should be out in the next month or so. So do you want to come up and share some of your photos?
Okay, so about 6 months ago, I had a phone call and I was told, would you like to go on an expedition to Malaysia to document a bunch of international and local scientists do some amazing work? And before they finished the sentence, I was like, yes, I'm going. And then it got even sweeter because they showed me the location. Do I just press spacebar? Okay. Just, ooh. We move in here? Okay, for those of you that saw me do that drone shot, I was so nervous. But they showed me the location, and so I just got a drone a couple months ago, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna highlight this place because just look at that. That is like rainforest goals right there. So this, I was gonna take the time to do my thanks during this, but I already did the thanks with Meg. But I just want to say thank you again to all you guys for hosting us and to putting up with all my antics, getting in your face, and you know, I think there was like a few times where I tried to grab something that people wanted to study and they got away. So I'm sorry about that. But let me show you a little bit of the piece that's going to be coming out. I have about 400 photos that I think are pretty exciting because you guys showed me a lot of amazing things, and Out of those 400, we're only going to select 20. So if you guys feeling any of these, just let me know, okay? So I'm not going to show you all 400. I'm going to show you just some of my favorites. So what I loved about this was meeting so many scientists, so many passionate people. And these were people who were, you know, working on the ground. These were people who were like seriously working in the ground. This is ridiculous in the cave, finding that tailless whip scorpion. You know, we also had people up in the sky. And one of my goals when I photograph people and scientists is I'm a scientist myself, and I've kind of converted more to the storytelling side, but I always grew up reading stories of scientists, and every type of science they did, by the end of the story, I was like, oh, I want to start my life over and start doing that kind of science. So my goal with photographing a lot of you guys is I wanted each photo to demonstrate that same feeling I get. Like, look how freaking badass all you guys look. It's so cool. So when it came to working with specimens, some of you scientists were setting traps and getting some really cool rats. I really enjoyed. We found quite a few rats that morning. And then other ones are catching them the old-fashioned way. And I mean, look at that bat. That is very brave to be holding that thing. So when I photograph the specimens, I mean, I love nature. The people are great too, but really, let's be real. Why are we here? We are here to really celebrate the biodiversity. Sometimes I'll photograph them in a more natural state. So the stock-eyed fly was like on my entomology goals list to see one of these things in the wild. And thank you, Keith, for showing me one, because that thing is crazy. Those are the eyes at each end of that. That's so wild. And then, you know, we got into some mammals too. So seeing them kind of in their natural state, just being out there. But then I also like to do a photo technique that looks a little bit more like this. So I think it really just highlights that these specimens we're collecting are living, breathing things. And yes, in the end, they'll end up in a museum somewhere, and when you see them, they have, you know, data associated with them, but they don't necessarily have that same life. So I love photographing things like this. This is the new species of scorpion, and this is just a really cool fern. But I just think seeing them side by side is something special. So I'll do this white background, but I also do this dark background technique, which I really think brings out kind of the mystery and the majesty of so much of the nature that we're seeing. And then lastly, I want to show you guys my favorite photo of the trip. It was one of the first photos that I took. It was on my first walk with the ant people, and I looked at a tree and I was like, oh my gosh, is that what I think it is? And it was. Look at that guy. They're so weird. I've always wanted to see a colugo, so thank you for bringing me in Malaysia to see one of these amazing animals. And again, the piece will be in biographic. And once the piece goes out, I will be uploading all the extra photos to a Dropbox somewhere where you guys can have access to them, so you could use them for professional uses, if you want to use them in scientific publications. If you guys would like to use them, I'm happy to share with credit. And if you guys want to follow me on other things I'm doing, I'll be posting a bunch of the photos from this. You can find me at Phil_Torres. All right, thank you.
Hey, thank you, Katie and Phil and Natasha and the team is so great. We appreciate all of that. Okay, so I think we'll call Bryson up. He's got some next steps, and we ended with Bryson's karaoke the other night. We'll end with Bryson's next steps tonight. Do you want to do a karaoke? Oh, oops, I shouldn't ask. And while he's doing that, I just want to let everyone know that we will be, Siti and I are so interested in hearing from all of you. We've had you put your name and email in the back on a piece of paper, because technically we can't do group emails without your permission. We want to make sure that we're keeping you in touch appropriately. And now to be continued. That was the fastest technology ever.
Exactly. Thank you guys. So this was a project working right now that I think could be kind of cool for the Habitat to be participating with. It's called Icarus. Icarus is the Greek mythology guy that flew too close to the sun, his wings melted, he crashed down. We named it as a joke, and it kind of just stuck with it then. It's a satellite system that's based on the International Space Station, and we can track animals with a 1-gram tag anywhere around the world. And so this is a map that will move. So this is a live data loading of what we're doing right now. And these are actual individuals flying around in, not real time, but this is over the course of like 3 weeks. And so this is a technology that we have open source to anybody who wants it. You can buy the tags, or if you're apply for funding, we can give them to you for free. They're really cool, and they're very customizable. You can put them on a range of species. So anything from a coligo to a butterfly to a bee, and maybe a hornbill in the future would be very cool. And we have an open source platform called MoveBank, which any scientist or any of the general public can use. You can look online right now at movebank.org and see what animals we're tracking, what animals people want to track, and all of the data is open source, so anyone can access it. You can also animate it. So this should show you, this is all of the animals at once on MoveBank, and you can see this is during the migration period, going from June, July, August, September, October. And you see there's these bio corridors going from North America and Europe. What we're missing, though, is a lot of the data in Southeast Asia. We don't have a lot of colleagues here working with us. So we're very open to working with anybody who wants to work with us. We also have an app called Animal Tracker, and you can look live where animals are. So let's say if we tag a hornbill in Langkawi, you can go on your phone and you could just see, oh, look, Sam the hornbill is over here right now. And you can click and see the historical data, where it's gone, and all about the information. So it's open source for scientists, commercial applications as well. If you want to use it for whatever they want, it's open source. So we have a satellite system, little tags that we can customize for any species you guys are interested in tagging. Everything's available, so I want to be reassured. And it's such a future idea.
And on that note, let's call Joe up next to give a little summary of iNat, another app that has a lot of future applications to the habitat and beyond. So, you got a fan club back there. For all of you who did not send Joe your data, because I think there wasn't a total 100% communication, he's going to tally the whole list. So for those folks that say maybe with algae that may not have been intimate with Joe throughout the week, we would love to have you send them to Joe, and we're going to make a master list of everything to present to the Cockrell family and Alan's team, so they know where we stood for this 10 days of findings and go from there. So anybody who has any questions, I'm sure you can always contact Cassie or Alan or anybody at USM, Nadine, or Citi to get a forwarding to me and to Joe so that we can try to compile this for all of you. Take it away.
All right, so for this presentation, we're all going to pretend that I'm Scott Laurie. You good with that? Okay. He was kind enough to share his slides. And we're going to look at just some of the numbers that we've, whoops, has that disappeared? It's disappeared. Come back. Technology failure. So we're going to share some of the numbers that we saw in iNat. And we also are still going. So we have the ongoing Penang Hill BioBlitz tag, so you can use that to continue adding observations. Oh, I don't know what's going on over here, all kinds of exciting things. Okay, well, I'm going to still talking about our final results, because I actually made some slides titled final results, and then I realized that they should be preliminary results, and then I realized that all the biologists got maybe a little tiddly last night, and they didn't all send me their data, and then I saw all these lovely presentations, and I'm just going to skip those slides. But I will say that, here we go, good, we've got the data now. So observations by category. We have, it's pretty neat how this thing breaks stuff down, and we have a real high rate of participation. We're very happy to see everyone here in Malaysia who will continue using iNat with Scott's training. So species by category, also exciting. And then of course we have the major contributors, which is, guess who wins the award of, most observations, Mr. Laurie. So congratulations. One of the things I did want to talk about though is we've had a big focus on numbers. And that doesn't tell the whole story. It doesn't tell the whole story partially because it's hard to collect them all, but also because this is a long process. So I reached out to the people at the Academy to talk to them about what it meant to have species counts and numbers. And the best story that I got back was a story about a researcher in Chiapas. And he collected, over the course of a 30-year career, which ended 20 years ago, 70,000 botanical samples. Of those 70,000, we have about 500 we can't identify. Most of those are probably new species. So don't be surprised if this is a long effort. This is the beginning of the process. This is the sort of the flash and the bang. The slow part's coming. And some of it will require DNA analysis, and that's where you actually see what I really do, as opposed to here where I'm running around in tight little circles trying to keep everything from falling over. I think that's all I have to share. Thank you very much. This has been Scott Roden.
Thank you, Joe. We will look forward to more future results. I think we're good with pictures, unless something else is coming up. Okay, I'm going to turn this over to either Reza or Harry in a minute. You can take your choice. You can be arguing or agreeing, but just as far as next steps, as I mentioned,